welcome. What's up, people? How we doing? It's Thursday night. Ding, 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 ding. We got TPO no with some old ladies. And what else is? I got a good one. Landlord tenant. Lady looks like Superfly. But let's get started with my girlfriend. I think she's taken over the wackadoodles from McNally's bunch because she's getting some. How we doing, everybody? Catch these hands. Sinatra Saint, Michael Toby, Smoochie, Peach 2. Not Peach 1, Peach 2. Daylight. What's up, everybody? Walter's in the house. Now I got to start. Walter's in the house. I got to start it. All right. How we doing? Let's roll. It's Oscar the Grouch. Uh-oh. Wexler's back.
Okay.
Grab your memberships.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Sean.
Is it possible that you can try to contact Attorney Christopher Quinn? We tried contacting
Are you
him,
ready for this one?
We were on hold and hold and hold, and he's the attorney that's appointed on Mr. Shinovar. I don't want to keep tying up the
You know how you have dogs that look like their owners? And vice versa. This guy looks like his shirt. I can't. I fucking can't. Oh my God.
Yes, and I'll try again, Your Honor. I also attempted to contact him as well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, not only was he notified by Third Circuit Court, but Ms. Shelton notified the attorneys as well. So she confirmed that she sent an email on Monday. So okay. Okay.
It's raining memberships.
Okay, so we have Mr. LeClaire. Where's Mr. LeClaire? You do, Mr. LeClaire?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Oh,
so
we're fitting that Webster in. Beach lover, welcome.
Going on the record.
Laura with the 2-5 dono.
State of Michigan versus Dennis LeClaire. 211881.
Love you, baby.
Afternoon, Your Honor. Your Honor, John Goldberg, P30758, on behalf of Mr. LeClaire. Mr. LeClaire, would you please put your name on the record?
Dennis LeClaire.
Okay, well, it's been a while since we've seen you, Mr. LeClaire. All right, counsel, this apparently is an old case
That's correct.
that Mr. LeClaire had not taken care of. So, as to the arraignment,
Your Honor, I understand that this was originally set for.
you have to be much louder because Todd is not picking you up.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. My understanding, Your Honor, that this was an incident out of 21, and he failed to appear. I discussed that with him. At this point in time, he would stand new to the charge, waive a full reading of that charge, and ask for plea of not guilty to be entered.
Whoa!
And the charge is, I believe,
Abandoning cruelty to animals.
My man.
Court waive the formal reading, enter plea of.
Thank you, sir, for the huge dono. That's going to the new computer fund. Sean's helping me out because he's tired of this computer I have, even though it's good for me, but he knows I need an upgrade. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Not guilty for.
We're always wild, brother.
And then we can set this for May 25th, counsel.
Thanks, man.
Retrial, May 25th.
No, it's good for me, but he needs
8:45 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, and that's the bond.
Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. LeClaire and he indicated it, as a number of people whom we've heard before. He wasn't
So is
aware.
what?
He either forgot or wasn't even aware that he was supposed to be in court back in 2021. However, Your Honor, he's been in the community the entire time. This is a lengthy old case. I would ask for a personal bond in this particular.
And it was there- Anything back there? Wow.
Not that I know of.
Not that I know, I reviewed that, and I have reviewed this from a record book. There's nothing of this nature.
Okay, it just sounds, the dog's name sounds familiar.
Maybe when he didn't show up at his first arraignment pre-trial.
Okay, well, sir, if you were to test today, what's in your system?
Your Honor, it's my understanding they came to his home this morning and brought him in on this arraignment.
Is that how he came into custody?
That's correct, Your Honor. Is that correct, Mr. Leclerc?
Yes.
Look at this guy. I can't. He hasn't moved.
55 years old, has no children, resides at home, has been a lifelong resident, close to.
All right, well,
Miska.
the court's going to indicate a 25. Yes, I'm aware of that. How old is Miska?
Who's
Miska's
Miska?
5.
Thank you, Toby. Yeah, that's Wyandotte. I fixed it. It's fixed.
All right, well, the court's going
Who's
to
the-
indicate a $2,500,
It's on.
10% bond. This matter's been pending for over 2 years.
It's up,
for 2
guys.
years. And so the court wants to make sure that Mr. Leclerc is going to appear in court. And, you're not to assault or neglect or act in any cruel manner to Miska.
Yeah, we're building our own computer.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You.
All right,
You said 2,500, Your Honor?
2,500, 10%, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, it's going to be the time served
And,
computer.
all right, Mr. Serrano just has one left.
All right, here we go.
Miss Hannah Stevenson, I need you to raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air.
Stationary.
Wexler says this is good. I didn't watch it yet. I'm watching it with you guys. So if Sean approves, we approve. Let's roll.
Miss Stevenson, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you,
Can
ma'am.
you
You
hear
can put
me?
your hand down. Isaiah Chambers, I need you to raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air.
You guys are good. Stream's up. We're not muted. We're good. If there's a delay. Okay, good. Yeah. We good. I didn't want you to hear three things at the same time. So here we go.
Fair. Isaiah
There we
Chambers,
go.
do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. You can put your hand down. You have any other witnesses, Miss Overstreet?
Ms. Nash, Your Honor.
Dolores Nash, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. Your case has been called, Miss Overstreet. You can call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Ms. Stevenson. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Anna Stevenson.
And you are the mother of, is it Bella Gianni?
Yes, ma'am.
Shirt unbuttoned.
And does Bella Gianni Stevenson live with you?
Yes, she does.
And did you and Mr. Chambers have paternity testing done in this case?
We did.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to ask the court to enter into evidence the DNA results in this case.
Oh, we got DNA.
Ms. Stevenson, I've just placed on the screen a copy of the alleged DNA test results between you, Bella Gianni, and the alleged father, Mr. Chambers. Is it okay if I look at these DNA test results?
Yes, sir.
The same question, Mr. Chambers. Is it okay if I look at Bella's DNA test results?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit A is admitted into evidence. Based on
Thank
the
you. Oh, sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Based on the admission into evidence of State Exhibit A, the court's going to find the DNA testing has now been completed, and that the alleged father, in this case, Mr. Isaiah Chambers, is found to be the biological father of the child, Bella Gianni Stevenson, and I'm now going to name him as the legal father of that child.
Thank you, Your Honor. What county do you live in?
Jefferson County.
And the child lives with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you know, do you know what county Mr. Chambers lives in?
No, I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. Now, do you have any safety concerns or issues with your
Thank
address
you, sir.
being in
I
the
do.
court order?
I do.
Can you tell the court
He's the worst.
of any incidences that have happened in the last 2 years
Thank you, Sean.
that
Another
gives you those
Bundy.
concerns?
He have been stalking me, and he made it known that he was stalking me and known of my whereabouts. I haven't seen
Addie.
him, but he's letting me know that he was stalking me at a time.
Okay. Have you ever filed any police reports against Mr. Chambers?
I have.
And what was that for?
The police report was for assault with me and my daughter involved, and I
Monica
called
with a
them and
50
I found out
dono. Oh my God. Thank you. Woo! About to fall off
that
the
that
chair.
case did go through.
Okay. How long ago did this incident take place?
It took place around July the 3rd, 2020.
And can you
And it-
tell the court what happened that led to the assault charge?
He finally decided to give my daughter back to me. So we met up in Winnie at a place, and we got into an argument, and then I left, and then he called to tell me that I did forget some things in his car for our child. So I pulled over on the side of a highway where I thought was safe so that he could give me the rest of our child's stuff. And he got in my car, he took the keys out, he started to hurt me and tried to take the baby out of the car seat and take her back. He pulled out his gun, he threw my keys in the field where we was at.
What?
And he didn't leave until he found out that I had people that was coming to my safety, and we was on the phone with the 911 dispatcher.
That's wild.
Okay. And that case is still pending?
Where they sent me a letter August the 30th of 2020 to tell me that they did file that case for assault family violence.
Okay. And you
I'm not getting through this live. Oh, just Phil, Craig, really? I think she meant PayPal. I can't.
You said something about when he finally decided to give you the child back. What had happened?
That's what happened. We met up at a
Okay.
parking lot. Publicly.
Okay. Now, if the court were to decide not to put your address in the court in the order, do you have a place where you suggest any supervised visitation and or exchange of visitation could occur that is close to your home?
Yes, ma'am.
Where would that be?
At my mother's house.
Okay. And your mother lives in Jefferson County?
Yes, ma'am.
And does Mr. Chambers, does he know where your mother lives?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have asked your mother, and your mother is okay with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, are you asking the court to change the child's last name to Chambers, or to leave the child's last name as Stevenson?
To leave the child last name is Stevenson.
Okay, and can you tell the court why you believe that's in the best interest of this child?
Because it's been that way since she was born, and all of her paperwork is all filed under Stevenson. I don't see no need of a change.
Okay. Now, when was the last time Mr. Chambers visited with the child?
The last time was June the 23rd of 2020.
Okay. Is that when that incident you talked about before happened? Or was that
Yes,
after
ma'am.
that?
That's when he got her, and after that he wasn't trying to give her back to me.
Okay. Now, how is the child currently covered for insurance?
He's under my Medicaid.
Okay. And you don't have any personal knowledge or information about where Mr. Chambers works or his income, do you?
No, ma'am.
And do you have any personal knowledge of whether or not he has any other children under the age of 18?
Not that I know of.
And are you asking for any back child support or just child support going forward?
Both.
Okay. Now, since the child was born, have you and Mr. Chambers ever lived together?
No, ma'am.
And since the child was born, do you have any knowledge of whether or not Mr. Chambers has ever been incarcerated?
No, ma'am.
And has he helped you financially since the child was born?
No, ma'am.
When was the first time you told him that he could be the father of the child?
When I first found out that I was pregnant in October.
And have you ever told him anybody else could possibly be the father?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions of this witness. Excuse
Call you
me.
next witness.
I'd like to call Mr. Chambers. Can you state your name, please?
Isaiah Chambers,
And what county do you live in?
Harris County.
And when was the last time that you recall seeing the child?
July 4th, 2022.
Okay. And as far as you know, are there still some charges pending against you from back at that time?
There are no charges.
Okay, so no charges were filed against you that you know of?
I went to court and
Yes.
they told me there's no charges. They dropped everything. I still have my job. So
Okay.
they
So, Mr. Chambers, there
yes,
was
sir.
there were criminal charges filed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes.
there was. Yes, sir.
And
It
you had
was filed.
hold on. And you had to pay a bond to get out of jail. You didn't have to turn yourself in on the case at all?
I didn't do anything.
Just because you post a bond, Mr. Chambers, doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you're guilty.
Yeah.
It just means that
Yeah.
your charges got filed. See, you wouldn't have had to go to court, Mr. Chambers, at all if they didn't file charges against you. So somebody filed charges against you.
Yes, sir. She filed
All
them
right,
against
hold
me.
on. Just be careful.
Okay.
I want you to be real specific and listen to the actual question that I asked you. Okay.
Mhm.
Because I don't want you to admit or deny anything. I just want you to tell me the answer to my question. I'm real specific with what I'm going to ask you. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Did you get arrested for the charges that were filed against you in Chambers County?
No, sir.
All right. And you never had to hire a bondsman for the charges that were filed against you in Chambers County?
No, sir, not at all.
Okay. And that may have been because it was who knows, Chambers County may not have been taking misdemeanor cases. But you said that you did have to go to court on the case.
Yes, sir.
Did you have an attorney?
No, sir.
All right. So you just went up there on your own.
Yes, sir.
Did you go in front of the judge?
Yes, sir. We spoke to the judge and he put us in front of the prosecutor and they re-looked at the case and they seen
Hold on one
pictures and
second. Hold on 1 second. You said we, and I don't know who we is.
Everybody does in court.
All right. Was Miss Stevenson there?
No, sir.
Did you find that strange that Miss Stevenson, who was actually the one who was filed the charges against you, was not in court?
Very.
All right. Did the judge or anybody at the court say anything about Miss Stevenson not being present?
No, sir.
Okay. Did the
Here we go.
prosecutor say anything about Miss Stevenson not being present?
No, sir.
All right. Did you have to take any kind of a plea bargain?
No, sir.
So you didn't have to do any type of community service or anger management, nothing like that?
Ooh,
No, sir.
Okay. When was it that you went in court? Do you remember? Just the month
It was November
Of la-
30th,
of last 2022?
2022, November
And the-
30th.
And the charges came out of some incident that Miss Stevenson described from July of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But that's not what she said in direct testimony. She said July of 2020. I wrote it down. That's why. That's okay. Sometimes people get confused on their dates. All right. All right. Go ahead, Miss Overstreet. You
Uh-oh.
continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. So
It always fits perfectly.
I may have
Lisa.
asked this, but I didn't write it down and I apologize. So when was the last time you have seen the child?
Last year, July 4th.
When you say last year, you mean 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
It looks like a
Okay.
Jesus prayer card.
Now, since you haven't seen the child in a while, Miss Stevenson had recommended that any
Just ask
visitation
the
with the
question,
child
Miss Overstreet,
supervised.
of
Okay.
Mr. Chambers. Ask him his opinion of what he wants, not whether or not Miss Stevenson's opinion is the correct one.
And sir,
Did you see Overstreet roll her eyes? He does that a lot to her. A lot.
would you be agreeable to having the supervised visitation at Miss Stevenson's mother's house?
No, ma'am.
Do you have a place that you would recommend for any supervised visitation?
Carrie.
You just want a yes or no? Or can I explain myself? I don't know what y'all
I'm
want.
asking if you know of a place or
Mr. Chambers,
that
do
you
you
would
think the
recommend.
visitation ought to be supervised?
Of course not.
Okay. Go ahead, Miss Overstreet.
Okay. Sir, where are you working?
I work for PSC at in Pasadena at the plant.
And how long have you been working there?
A year and a half now.
And what do you do for them?
I operate.
And are you in a union?
No, ma'am.
And do you, how much do you make an hour?
22.
Not bad.
And on average, how many hours a week do you work?
I can't give you a direct because it's different every week. sometimes 40, sometimes 36. It varies, you know. The schedule changes. So I spoke with my supervisor and he depending on how this.
You can't tell me, Mr. Chambers, what your supervisor said.
Oh, okay. It varies, you know. 40 one week and probably on 36 is another week. It just depends.
And do you have medical insurance available through your job for the child?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know how much that would cost to put the child on the medical insurance?
No, ma'am, not at all.
Okay. And do you know if dental insurance is available as well?
I believe so. I have to go check on my ADP.
Okay. Do you have any other children under the age of 18 besides this one?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And are you asking the court to leave the name as Stevenson or change the last name of the child to Chambers?
She's at Chambers.
And can you tell the court why you believe it's in the child's best interest to change her name to Chambers?
Yes, ma'am. I can elaborate for y'all. I would like to say that as the father of Bella Gianni, I believe she's a Chambers at heart. You know, I believe that I'm doing something for my daughter out here in the city of Houston to pave her way, and that last name is going to carry for her. And she's a Stevenson as well. I wanted to share the last name on the first hearing. I asked the OAG if we could just share it, and she denied it. She denied it when I asked. I said, well, we can share Chambers / Stevenson just to make it fair, because I understand how Hannah feels, and that's her daughter, and I don't want to take nothing from her. But when she denied it, I felt some type of way, like, I'm trying to work with you. Why are you denying? This is both of our child. This is not like, I'm not trying to be hateful or anything. This is just about trying to be fair. But when she denied that, so now I'm gonna just leave it as Chambers, because you denied something that you should have just took the first time. So, like I said, I'm her father, and majority of kids that I've known take the father last name. Unless I wasn't present in my daughter's life, I wasn't doing nothing. I wasn't here trying to fight for her. I just like whatever, then she deserves to be a Stevenson, So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I think I asked you this, but you actually live in Harris County, not Jefferson. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Your Honor, I have nothing. Oh, I do have one other question. Or a few other questions. Did you and Miss Stevenson, y'all never lived together since the child was born? Is that correct?
No.
Okay. And you have not been incarcerated since the child was born. Is that correct?
No, ma'am, I haven't.
And you said you've been working for this company for about a year?
Year and a half, ma'am.
And then where did you work before then?
I was at HEB or something like that. Yeah, like HEB or the temp job.
Okay. Do you remember? I'm sorry. Do you remember how much you were making at HEB?
It was about our shoes. Don't worry.
Go ahead, Ms. Overstreet.
Thank you, Your Honor. One more question. Do you have any other children under the age of 18?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, I'd like to pass the witness and call Ms. Nash.
Go ahead.
Ms. Nash, can you state your name, please?
Dolores Nash,
And who do you work for?
Office of the Attorney General,
And how long have you worked for the Office of the Attorney General?
5 years.
Ways or never, because it's obvious to me that Mr. Chambers was in Bella's life for the first 2 years after Stella was born. Wouldn't you agree with me?
I would.
All right. So, but something did happen in July of 2022, and it's safe for me to assume that since that date, Mr. Chambers has had no contact with Bella?
No contact at all. He did have one contact, which was a FaceTime call,
Yeah,
but he ruined it.
Yeah, they don't.
So no.
I don't. Phone calls for a 3-year-old child, that don't count.
Okay, so no, sir.
So, Miss Stevenson, for the first 2 years after Bella, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say Stella for some reason. I don't know why. Bella's a much better name. For the first 2 years after Bella was born, how would you describe Mr. Chambers' contact? How was his visitation? How often was it happening?
I'm not sure. I just know whenever he was off,
Okay.
and whenever he had the time to come see her, that's when he came seeing her.
All right. So he would come from his house in Houston to, or wherever he lives in Harris County, to your house in Jefferson County, and he would visit Bella at your house?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did Mr. Chambers ever start taking Bella from your house and going to Harris County with her?
Yes, sir, at one point in time.
So eventually he started having regular contact rights, even though it might have been working around his job, right?
Right.
Right. Now he said that y'all had agreed that he would have a summer con. You don't remember having a summer visit, him having a summer visitation with Bella?
No. I never gave him Bella for the summer.
Okay. But yet you guys did have to agree at some point in time to meet in Winnie for him to exchange the child with you, right?
Yes, but it would only be for the weekend, and then I would get her back.
Okay. All right. But no real long periods of time.
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. But weekends were okay with you.
Yes.
You just didn't think Bella was ready for big, long summer visits yet.
No, sir.
Or maybe Miss Stevenson wasn't ready for big, long summer visitation. And it's okay, Miss Stevenson, if you weren't ready. You're not hurting your case by telling me that that's part of it.
I think both. I think I wouldn't be ready for long visits until my child was able to talk.
Your child was 2, Miss Stevenson. In 2022, during the summer of 2022, Bella was 2 years old. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's still not very old. You don't have to defend yourself.
Doesn't Webster look like he loves girl talk? He loves talking. He likes you.
For that. All right.
You could tell me.
Nothing. I'm not gonna hold it against you. If you'd have said, no, Judge, I was not ready in the summer of 2022 to let Bella go for a whole month. I'm not gonna hold that against you.
I wasn't ready.
I think most parents might have a difficult time with a 2-year-old saying, yeah, I'm ready to let my baby go for a month. So don't worry about that. That ain't hurting your case. What does hurt your case is the fact that Mr. Chambers hasn't seen his daughter in 8 months. That hurts your case. 9 months. That hurts your case. Ms. Stevenson, you said that based on the incident that happened in July of 2022, the police were called. You were on the phone with the 911 dispatcher when the incident took place with Mr. Chambers, correct?
Charles Blake.
Correct.
All right, do you have a copy of that 911 dispatch?
No, it wasn't called by me. It was called by my mother.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Did your mother get a copy of the 911 dispatch?
No, sir.
All right. So did the police show up when Mr. Chambers and you were both in the car?
The 911 dispatcher told me that she couldn't find my location for some odd reason.
Okay.
I tried to give descriptions of where I was at, and they couldn't find me.
But you did find out at some point in time after that Mr. Chambers did have a case filed against him for that incident that took place.
Yes, they sent me a letter in the mail.
All right. And that was in Chambers County, right?
No, yes, I'm sorry. It was in Chambers County.
Right. I mean, you said it was Winnie. That's Chambers County.
Yes.
All right. And so did you stay in touch with Chambers County after that as the victim of the family assault? Did you stay in touch with the prosecutor in Chambers County?
No, sir, I didn't.
Did you ever call the Anahuac Sheriff's Department to find out what the status of were the charges?
No, sir, I didn't.
See, here's the problem. I take these allegations like this real serious, Miss Stevenson, okay?
Okay.
But I expect you to take them real serious too. And that means if you were the victim of an assault, you have even a small amount of burden to make sure that if you're serious about that charge, that you assist the county in prosecuting that charge. Right? That means you should have called the sheriff's department. You should have called the prosecutor. You should have been calling the county officials wanting to know what is the status of this criminal charge against Mr. Chambers. Right?
Right.
See, the Chambers County courts didn't hold Mr. Chambers responsible for that for whatever reason. I have a hard time myself holding him responsible for it if they didn't. That didn't mean it doesn't happen. It just means I'm not really sure that it's fair to Mr. Chambers to get 2 bites at the same apple. But we'll see. We'll see. We might be able to work that around.
Okay.
Are you working, Mr. Chambers? Do you work 36 or 40 hours a week? Is it Monday through Friday?
Yes, sir. Yes and no. They switched me recently to 4 on, 4 off, and I think I'll be back on days Monday through Friday.
I mean, I'm trying to set it up, Mr. Chambers, because look, you need to get your visitation with Bella.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that's whatever, everything else going on in this case. I've got to get you reestablished with your relationship with your daughter. That has to happen. Okay. So, but you haven't had any contact with her for several months.
No, it's 10 months. It made 10 months.
Right. Yeah, 10
May
months.
4th.
Even further than
May
that.
4th. May 4th made 10 months in a week.
Right.
Right. So
I got you. And you know where, Mr. Chambers, you know where Miss Stevenson's mother lives?
yes, sir, I do. May I ask a question?
Not yet. Let me make sure I got all my questions answered first, okay?
Yes, sir.
There's the hum. What class, Carrie?
No, sir, I didn't.
Was there anybody from Chambers County that reached out to you and told you, Mr. Chambers, that you couldn't have contact with Miss Stevenson or the child?
No, sir, not at all.
All right. Did you reach out, Mr. Chambers, to Miss Stevenson and try to get your contact rights with Bella again?
Absolutely, every day almost.
Okay. Well, some people might consider that stalking if you're calling every day, Mr. Chambers.
Well, I can't call her. She changed her number on me, so
okay.
I thought I was.
And then how could you call her every day if you don't know her number?
Well, I thought I was just blocked, so I was trying to get in touch with her through my sister, and my sister was like, "Nah, she changed her number," and I hit her up on Messenger. I text every day and see how's my daughter doing. Do she need anything or stuff like that? I don't really ask about her. I ask about my daughter.
Did these people go down to the police station and turn all that information over to the cops so he could be arrested for terroristic threat?
No, sir, but I do have all.
Here's the problem that I have with a lot of these cases. People need to understand that you don't just get to come in here and start throwing stuff at other people without taking the steps. If your people didn't take it serious enough, Miss Stevenson, to go down and get charges filed against Mr. Chambers for terroristic threat, why should I?
I didn't know that you could do that.
Sure. Well, so your excuse, Miss Stevenson, is that not you, but that your friends and your families who you say Mr. Chambers threatened don't know what the law is in this state. Correct?
Correct.
All right. Well, that's not an excuse. It's never an excuse in this state or in this country to say, I didn't know what the law was. And you're always supposed to know what the law is. You may not know how to use it, but you're always supposed to know what the law is.
Understood.
What else you need to tell me, Miss Stevenson? Because I want to hear your side. If there's something else I need to know, I want you to tell me.
No, sir, nothing at all.
All right. Mr. Chambers, what else do you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
I think you should know, not pray to lie, not talk to God about this. So I'm going to tell y'all what happened was we had a schedule set on all my updates. I get Bella Gianni.
Mr. Chambers. Mr. Chambers.
You hear me?
I want you to be real careful.
All
right. You are currently under oath and you are in a courtroom in the state of Texas. If you start to describe for me anything that happened in that incident between you and Miss Stevenson, and hold on, and I think that what you just told me is a violation of the criminal laws of the state of Texas, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this recording and I'm going to turn it over to the prosecutors in Chambers County, and they're going to file on you. So my advice to you is, you're here without an attorney. You should probably stay away from giving me any details about anything that would relate to a possible criminal offense in Chambers County.
Shut up.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we had an agreement. She set a date to get our daughter. She wasn't there to pick up our daughter. She set a time and date, and we were supposed to meet in Daytown at Buc-ee's, or like we usually meet at. She wasn't there to pick up our daughter, and I called her. I'm like, "Hey, where you at? What are you doing?" "I'm busy. I'm on a date." I said, "You on a date? So you on a date with a guy is more important than getting your daughter on time. I had to be to work at 4 in the morning.
Miss Stevenson,
Stormy.
don't interrupt him, Miss Stevenson. He's digging a hole deeper for himself than you ever could. Go ahead, Mr. Chambers.
So it was Sunday, and I told her, I said, come get Bella Gianna. I got to be at work I got to get up at 3 in the morning, be at there at 4. So she was like, I'm busy, hanging up my face, XYZ. So I'm like, it's crazy. So me personally, being as, I have a big heart, so I was going to drive to Port Arthur because she said it was flooded out there for some odd reason. She said it was raining too bad for her to drive and meet me, even in Weenie. When I said, well, meet me in Weenie. She's like, it's flooded out here. I'm not about to drive my car over there. I said, I was with my sister, and I was about to drive to Port Arthur, and my sister was like, no, don't drive out there, because all she's going to do is the next time she's going to expect you to do the same thing you're doing right now. So I didn't drive out there. I went back home. I kept my daughter for 1 week. 1 week, that's it. I said, I contact Hannah, I made sure that she had her daughter and FaceTime videos, and I texted her, let her know how Gianni was doing. And I brought her back July 4th. I never kept Gianni away from Hannah at all. I always make sure she talked to her on the phone if I do have her. I always make sure that Hannah's a mother of my daughter. She deserves to, to live with the mom. I always tell Hannah that I won't ever in my life take Gianni away from you. And, we had those conversations, and she get mad at me and she get upset. And you might not believe when I tell you this, she threatened to put our daughter up for adoption. She said, I'll put my daughter up for adoption. If I can't have her, no one can have her, because you're not taking my baby from me. And this and that. She said, I don't care. I put her up for adoption. I kill her, whatever. I said, so me, out of emotions, I get upset and I yell back at her on the phone. We're on the phone talking. And I'm like, you don't ever say that about our own child. You know what I'm saying? That's I don't care how mad you get at someone, that won't ever come out of my mouth. To put my own daughter up for adoption, and you got papers to do it, and you threaten to kill our own daughter because you can't have her, no one can. I know what's best for Bella Gianni. And I always tell Hannah, I'm not keeping her from you. But when I know what's best for our daughter, and I have plans for her, I make sure she's gonna go to a good school and everything, a good area. You know what I'm saying? I know, and she was struggling, for herself, trying to get a good job and stuff like that. So why would I leave you to struggle with a baby when she could come with me? You know what I'm saying? And that would be a big help for her. You could go to school like you say you wanted to. You could do this, do that, you know what I'm saying? And then when you have time, come see Bella Gianni, you can have her, you know what I'm saying? That's cool, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened between her and I. And it's like she was in competition with me, who keeps the baby longer, who does more for the child. And it's not even about that. It's about being a mom and dad. And I always tell her, you don't be her friend, you be her mom. I call her one night and she'd be like, I say, why is Gianni not in bed? And she'd be like, she don't have a bedtime. Mm-hmm. She said that our daughter don't listen to her. So she calls me and said, your daughter's not listening to me. She don't want to mind. She acting up, falling down in the stores and crying, whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, that's typical for a 2-year-old, but it don't make you have to be a mom, not her friend. That's what I always tell her. And you want to be her friend. That's why she acts the way she acts, because you're not being her mom. You let her get away with all this stuff. And
can we wrap this up, Mr. Chambers?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, but that's pretty much it,
Okay.
Can I say?
No, it's okay, Ms. Stevenson. See, here's the problem. No, it's not that he gets to talk last, Ms. Stevenson. It doesn't matter. Neither one of y'all really offer me anything that's going to have a difference in how I rule in the case. Here's what I see. You don't see this because you're in it. I see it because I do it every day, and I listen to what y'all tell me. What I heard was that for the first 2 years after Bella was born, y'all got along well enough that you could act as good co-parents to raise her. Did y'all have issues? Yes, all parents do. But something happened in July of 2022 that made everything stop. And ever since then, it's been no contact. Does Mr. Chambers believe that Miss Stevenson was a good mom? I think he does. The problem is that Mr. Chambers now is having second thoughts about what he really wants in this case. And so what did he just tell me? With one statement, he said, well, that Bella should live with her mother. But at the same time, he's telling me, well, Miss Stevenson was going to kill her and Miss Stevenson is going to put her up for adoption. Why do you want to say all that stuff, Mr. Chambers? That doesn't make any sense. Do you want me to give you custody?
No, sir. I just want to see my daughter.
So why do you want to make all those ugly statements about Miss Stevenson? Do you really think, Mr. Chambers, in the long run, that all of that ugly stuff that you just said about Miss Stevenson is going to help you reestablish your relationship with Bella? I can tell you right now, it ain't. Do you think every time that you might need Miss Stevenson to work with you to change a minor change to your schedule because of your work, do you think Miss Stevenson is going to be more likely to work with you or less likely to work with you because of all the ugly stuff you just said about her? Less likely. So I hope it made you feel better for the 3 or 4 minutes that I let you go on and say all that ugly stuff. But at some point in time, I have to make you stop because you're not offering anything to me to help me with my decision. All you're really doing is hurting your chances in the long run, Mr. Chambers, to reestablish your relationship with your daughter. That's what you're doing. It's sad. It's sad. The amount of dirt throwing that people do in these cases when they don't see the forest because they're standing in front of a tree. I would have assumed, Mr. Chambers, that your number one priority in this case, more than anything else, more than slinging dirt at Miss Stevenson, more than what you're going to have to pay in child support and medical support, more than anything you're going to have to pay in retroactive child support, I would have thought that your number one concern would be, Judge, I don't care what you do. I just want to spend time with my daughter again like I did for 2 years. How many times in the history of the 45 minutes that we've been in this hearing, Mr. Chambers, did you tell me that? None. Not once.
I said it the first hearing, Your Honor.
But today ain't the first hearing.
Yes, sir.
No. You know, when you represent yourself, Mr. Chambers, you should come in and have a little notepad. And if you looked online, there are lots of lawyers out there give you some free advice about what you should do when you represent yourself in a courtroom, especially regarding family. You should have wrote yourself a big note, and it should have said one thing: stress my contact rights with my 3-year-old daughter. That's what it should have said, because everything else is irrelevant. Sad, just sad. You know, for 2 years, Bella had a good relationship with Mr. Chambers, and something happened in July. I wasn't there, so I don't know what it was. Mr. Chambers told me his side of it. Miss Stevenson told me her side of it. I'm going to tell you Bella's side of it. Bella now has not had contact with her daddy in 10 months. That's her side of it. Miss Stevenson, how you want me to fix that? How you want me to fix the fact that Bella hasn't had contact rights with her daddy in 10 months? Tell me.
He can have visitations. The only reason why he did not get to see her is because the police told me that I needed to have paperwork involved.
Okay. So you made the choice, Miss Stevenson, on your own, based on what you said the police told you, that he wasn't going to have contact rights with your daughter from that point forward.
Yes, I made that choice after
Perfect.
he did keep her.
See, I love that, Miss Stevenson. At least you just owned it, right? And now the state's coming here and wants me to sit, I don't know, $36,000 in retroactive child support against Mr. Chambers. You know you're not going to get that right in the Silver Street.
I'm with me.
All right.
Your Honor, I do have a question regarding the last name.
Yes, ma'am.
He can have the last name attached to Stevenson at the end, but will that hurt her paperwork for school because she does go to school this year?
No. Why would it hurt her name? Why would it hurt her? How's it going to hurt her?
No, I'm saying that I would have to do it all over again to add that last name.
I mean, yeah, she'd have to be enrolled in whatever name I choose to give her.
Okay.
See, here's the other thing, Miss Stevenson and Mr. Chambers. If y'all don't agree on the name, then guess what? This old judge sitting behind this camera is going to make the name. That's what's going to happen.
Well, then he can have the last name attached to Stevenson.
See, I love that. See that? At least you get a say, right? I get some control over what it's going to be. Thank you, Miss Stevenson, for being reasonable on the last name. That I do appreciate more than you know. Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
This court is going to find that this court has jurisdiction. I'm going to find that it is certainly in Bella's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators with Miss Stevenson as the right to establish the primary residence of the child. Mr. Chambers is going to have visitation rights. And through no fault of his own, that visitation does have to be reestablished. But not having any contact with Bella in 10 months is not Bella's fault, but she has to relearn who Mr. Chambers is. Okay, that's just the nature of it. You go 10 months without seeing a baby that's only 3 years old, she's got to relearn who you are. And hopefully that ain't going to take long because this phased in visitation schedule is going to be real short. 0 supervised, 0 unsupervised for half days. I want 4 full day visits, followed by 4 one-night overnight visits, and then standard possession after that. Mr. Chambers and Miss Stevenson, so y'all know what that means because that was judge and attorney lingo. That means that Mr. Chambers' visitation is going to be 4 Saturday visits for the entire day. He will come to Port Arthur. He will pick up Bella. He will keep Bella for the whole day. And then he'll bring Bella back to Miss Stevenson in that evening. He will do that 4 times. Okay. When those 4 visits are done, then Mr. Chambers is going to have 4 one-night overnights. That means he gets to pick the child up on Saturday at 6 and bring the child back on Sunday at 6. When those 4 visits are done, then he'll have standard possession. That will mean that Mr. Chambers will have every 1st, 3rd, and 5th weekend of the month, every other major holiday, 30 days in the summer, and every Father's Day weekend. Okay. Now, unfortunately, that will mean that Mr. Chambers will probably miss his summer contact for this year. Even if he does them specifically the way I said, he's not going to be able to get those 8 visits done before his summer contact will come up in July. So, but he still will have Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and he'll have full-blown standard by the time next summer rolls around. I'm going to order Mr. Chambers to carry the health insurance on the child. He has a good job. He makes a decent living. He does have health insurance through his employer. I looked it up. He can go out and get health insurance on the child. The insurance credit that I gave him credit for, Miss Overstreet, was $350 a month for the health insurance and dental insurance for the $50 a month for the dental. Child support in this case is going to be based on the wages that Mr. Chambers and that Miss Nash testified to. $850 a month beginning June the 1st of 2023. Retroactive child support will be granted, but I'm not going very far. $4,250 in retroactive child support that'll be paid back at a rate of $50 a month beginning June the 1st of 2023. I am changing the last name of the child. Bella's last name from this point forward will be Chambers/Stevenson. Mr. Chambers will be responsible for court costs, but I will give him until November 30th of 2023 to pay my court costs. Miss Overstreet, did the state of Texas hear all the terms and conditions of my court order?
Yes, the retro, did you say 4,250?
That's what I said.
Okay, and you said 50 a month on that. Okay,
50 on the retro.
okay, I was writing and couldn't keep up.
I try to remember to slow down with Miss
I know.
Overstreet. You know, once I get rolling,
I know.
stop.
I wanted to make sure that I wrote down what I was hearing. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, I got everything else. Thanks.
Mr. Chambers?
You didn't say it on the record, but are you denying the family violence? I mean, the non.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And no
And no
domicile,
CO, right?
and no domicile restriction. No, he's
Right, okay.
he's a resident of Harris County, so no domicile.
Okay. Thank you.
And what that means, Ms. Stevenson, Mr. Chambers, normally in Jefferson County, I'm required by the local rule with the district judges that I work for to put a domicile restriction, which means Ms. Stevenson must reside with Bella in Jefferson County. But Mr. Chambers doesn't reside in Jefferson County, so there's no restriction that needs to be placed on Ms. Stevenson.
Okay.
All right. Now, Mr. Chambers and Ms. Stevenson, they're going to send me a proposed order. As long as it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it and get it back to them. Then they're going to make a copy of it and they're going to send it to each of you. Now,
So they will send all of the visitation to my phone.
however you normally get your stuff from the AG's office, Ms. Stevenson, that's how they will send it to you. Okay.
Okay, just asking.
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't work for them, Ms. Stevenson. I have no idea how they get information out to people anymore.
Oh, okay.
They email me all my stuff. Everything they send me by email.
Gotcha. I just didn't want to miss no visitation.
No, and it's not going to start. It ain't going to start till June 1st anyway.
Okay.
So it's going to be a couple weeks before it gets started because it'll take that long for the order to get processed.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chambers, do you have any questions about the ruling today?
The financial part, yeah, but
What's your question about the financial part?
you should pay $850 a month.
Yes, sir. That's in your child support.
I mean, there's nothing I can say honestly. I can't afford it, but I'm gonna have to pay it, I guess.
Did you not make that much money last year? The state said you made over what? What did I have it based on? 56930 times 12. The state testified that you made $68,000 last year. Did you not make 68,000? Is that not your gross?
I mean, if it says that, yes, sir. I was just saying, like, we wasn't fully staffed last year. There was a lot of overtime, and now that we're fully staffed, it hasn't been the same. It's been.
How long has it been like that?
Since the beginning of this year. They've been hiring people, and they've been cutting OT and stuff like that, and my rent went up. Sir?
Well, I mean, I can't help your bills, Mr. Chambers.
Get another job,
your
bro.
child support is based on your income. Miss Nash,
Start a YouTube
Miss Nash,
channel.
did you see a big difference in the quarterly wages that were reported by Mr. Chambers' job?
No, sir.
Okay. See, when I look at it, Mr. Chambers, that's kind of what I look at. If I saw a big change in your most recent quarterlies, I'd have said, "Oh yeah, that could be true." But this is just an average, all right?
What's that face?
All right. Well, look, guys. I could sit here keep preaching at you. It's not going to do any good. At some point in time, you're going to have to figure out what's the most important thing. And if you can get to the most important thing, then things will get back to what they were before this incident in July. Okay. I wish you both.
Bravo. Good clip, sir. Good one. Very good. All right. You guys voted for it. Just wait till you see Bootsy Collins. If you guys don't know who Bootsy Collins is, look him up. We got Bootsy. I don't even care what this is about. You know I recorded it. Oh, come on, lady. Oh, sweet Jesus. One of them's a hoarder. This is a good one.
Attorney Wright?
And Your Honor, I spoke with Ms. Riggs and Ms. Patrick individually in breakout rooms.
Boots.
We could not come to an agreement on the move out dates. I knew that they were way too far apart. At this time, however, I would respectfully request that the case be dismissed as the notice to quit was dated for February and Ms. Riggs made a payment April, I believe it was April 15th of last month.
Ms. Patrick, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
All right, Ms. Riggs, I'm sorry, Ms. Patrick,
Yes, Your Honor.
let me ask you, Ms. Patrick. When she made that you obviously you were aware that you had already started this case, am I correct?
Yes. I sent her a letter back in January, just letting her know because over the years, it's been 7 years, we've been going through this, that she has made no effort to clean up that unit. When you see her face now, all you're looking at, she's standing in the living room and most
Your
of
Honor,
it
I object. This is not
is the
relevant.
wall and the ceiling.
Hold on. Ms. Patrick, I
Yeah.
just want to get an understanding from you.
Yes.
Okay, so ma'am, you commenced this action back in January of this
No,
year.
I wrote her a letter letting her know that I was going to because she over the years, in the 7 years, and it should be in that file.
No, Ms. Patrick, hold on.
Yeah.
Please
Okay.
just follow.
Okay.
I'm looking at your notice to quit. It's dated January 4th of this year. Am I correct?
Right. Yes, sir.
All right, and you filed the summons and complaint on February 17th of 2023, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So ma'am, at that point, you filed a termination of tenancy case, which is you don't want her money, you just want her out. That's what this type of filing says. And then you accepted a payment.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so then when you accept payment, what was the purpose behind it if you're trying to put her out?
No, because she was still living there, and also I was still incurring expenses from her hoarding. I've had the exterminator come 3 times since last week. The last time he was there was last Tuesday.
Okay, let me ask you, when you accepted that payment,
Mm-hmm.
did you say anything to her?
Yes, I told her that I've been covering that fee for years because since 16, anytime a tenant upstairs call, I have to pay to have the place exterminated, even though I've been told numerous of times. And she knows the exterminator who comes because he's been coming there for years. He told her it's difficult to get rid of them because he doesn't have access to the walls. That place is loaded practically up to the windows.
Well,
Every room.
objection, Your Honor.
Hold on, Ms. Patrick.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure what your objection is going to be at this point.
Okay.
Question, I'm trying to get some clarity, Attorney Wright. All right, Ms. Patrick.
Yes, Your Honor.
Currently lease in place with Ms. Riggs?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you were saying, sir.
Lease in place with Ms. Riggs?
Something in place. That's all I heard. In place with Ms.
Do
Riggs.
you have a lease with Ms. Riggs?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the end date of the lease?
I don't have that in front of me, but I can. And the lease goes back a couple of years because they've been there so long. And the last one I have is probably the second one over the 20 years she's been there. So she's basically month to month.
Ms. Patrick, I probably should have asked you a while back to raise your hand.
Okay, I can still do that. Right hand?
Yes.
Okay, it's up. Wait a minute, I see.
Sounds-
If you can see it,
With the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right.
Judge could care less about these two. He is so hating his job.
Ms. Patrick,
Look at
when do you believe that lease expired? The lease that you previously had?
It's probably like maybe the early 2000s. Let's see, if you give me about 30 seconds, I can run in and pull a file out.
And that's okay. You don't have to tell me the exact. It hasn't
Your
been
Honor,
since
I sent a copy of the lease with the documents to the court. You should have it there. That was the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I just remembered.
So the lease that you sent ended in 2009. I just want to make
Okay.
sure.
Okay,
There's been no other leases since then.
no other lease since, because nothing has changed. I just recently, I think maybe about a year, maybe two ago, changed the amount of the rent. It's been $625 for years.
Thank you.
And that's only because they were costing me so much money to have the place terminated. I've paid money to have the basement completely cleaned out.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just need to make sure I was sure.
okay, okay.
Right, this is a somewhat of a sidebar. It's my understanding that the parties had different amounts of time that they were looking for this. What was the amount of time that Ms. Riggs was looking for?
Ms. Riggs was trying to get 60 days. And Ms. Patrick, we went back and forth. I wasn't sure what we settled on, if she was going to give to the end of the month or insist on 10 days. I wasn't sure.
All right, well, you just tell me what your plan was. Ms. Riggs is looking for 60 days?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Patrick, how much time are you willing to give Ms. Riggs to move out?
Okay, I was sticking with May 31st. But when you stated the last time you were in front of us that she denied being a hoarder, I shut down at that point. I said, she's lying. And
Ms. Patrick,
yeah, okay.
Gotta be on that.
Okay.
How much
The
time?
31st, to answer your question, May 31st. For that reason, she didn't tell the truth.
All right, before that, before you took issue with what she was saying, what were you willing to give her before?
I had backtracked to just the 10 days. Last hearing, which I believe was the 5th of May, we agreed on the 31st of May. But the attorney, when she went back to put it on record, went to have her confirm, she was nowhere to be found, Ms. Riggs. If you recall, yes.
Thank you, Ms. Patrick.
Okay.
All right. All right, since we have her here, Ms. Riggs, can you raise your right hand? You have to unmute yourself. Ms. Riggs, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, can you see? Oh. Can you?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Yeah, but you can't see my hand. Can you see?
Ma'am, I'll take your word for it. I can see it.
Okay.
You can lower
I
your right
never.
hand. It's okay, Ms. Riggs. I'll just ask the questions. We'll make it quick. All right?
Okay.
So, Ms. Riggs,
Okay.
paid
Yes.
that rent. What was your understanding? Well, I'm sorry. When you made that payment to Ms. Patrick, what was your understanding?
I don't know. I just know I have to pay my rent. That's why I paid it. It wasn't an understanding about it. I thought it was due, so I paid.
Than that.
What happened there?
All right.
So based on that, you made
Whoa.
that payment. Now, mind you, when was the last time you paid rent prior to giving that payment?
I paid April 15th. That was the last payment.
Okay, what did you pay before that?
I paid, this was March. I paid March. I paid April. I'm up to date.
Wait a minute, you've been paying
Don't
rent
know
all
what happened
along?
there, guys.
Yes, I have. I'm not late.
So Ms. Briggs, I want to understand this. Did Mr. Patrick accept the payments for every month that you've been paying?
Yes, yes. I bill it to her every month. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. I thought I had to pay it.
All right, I just have one last question. Now for you, Ms. Briggs. Ms. Patrick,
Yes, Your Honor.
has Ms. Briggs been paying every month?
Yes, she has, and that's never been an issue. And if I was not supposed to collect anything, I wasn't aware of that either. Because I said, she's a long-standing tenant. I never had any problem with that at all. It's just somewhere out of the blue, she turned into a hoarder. I used to brag about her and her sister. That place was neat as anything. Then all of a sudden, there was stuff everywhere. So I never had a problem with her. It's just that I can't keep tenants because of what she's doing downstairs, and she refuses to make an effort to do better. And costing me money regularly just to placate the other tenant.
Ms. Patrick, let me just ask this.
Okay, I understand.
Ms. Patrick, but for the issue that you said that she's a hoarder, and it
Yes.
sounds like she's a good tenant otherwise, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. I have no further questions. Mr. Wright, unless you have something you want to ask.
No, Your Honor, no further questions.
I am going to look at something. I do know that there are two cases that I'm thinking of in particular. While I do think of the Park Forest case, which does prohibit, not totally prohibit the acceptance of rental payments during the time of a summary proceeding, it does not absolutely bar any payments whatsoever. There is a case, if I can remember off the top of my head.
Your Honor, are you referring to Aspen Enterprises?
Whether a landlord has waived notice to terminate is a question of fact. It depends on the circumstances under which the rent was received.
Judge, are you reading to yourself or is that on the record?
Sorry, that was meant to be for on the record. I'm sorry, Madam Court.
Can you repeat that for me, please? I didn't catch it all.
Whether a landlord has waived the notice to terminate is a question of fact that depends on the circumstances under which the rent was received. And that's Aspen Enterprises Limited versus Bray at 148 Mishat, page 9, 148 Mishat 9, on page 14. That's a 1985 case.
And Your Honor, if I may, I would I would argue that under the circumstances, Ms. Riggs clearly believed that she was just paying rent as she was supposed to pay rent, as she knew she was owed rent for all the time she was staying in Miss Patrick's property. And if there was any other reason Ms. Patrick was, accepting rent, those were her own reasons that, Ms. Riggs was not aware of and did not factor into her process of paying.
Question here is whether or not there was the belief that the relationship was continuing as she was there only on a limited basis for a month-to-month tenancy. The big question I think that comes out of her report, whether or not are they in the mindset that what I've heard over the past 2 hearings, whether that was the case. It sounds like Ms. Riggs is an honest person and thought, hey, I should not stay here for free. So while I am here, I'm going to pay. That's kind of what I get. The other thing is clearly based on, and I don't like to charge into people's settlement discussions. It sounds like both parties are aware that the relationship is probably ended, and that for that reason, there's the thought of how much time is needed to move out. I'm not going to necessarily use that against someone that they're having settlement discussions.
Thanks,
But
Toby.
I think ultimately the issue that I have for me is clearly the parties know that the relationship as it has been recently seems to be fractured. And while I clearly there's respect, but there's the issue of allegations of reporting.
Or, Your Honor, if I can ask a question, I sent a letter which should be in that packet too, dated January 4th of this year, where I told her that under no circumstances did I have any intention of canceling her eviction. I delivered it to the house and I also sent it first class mail. It should be in that packet too. It's dated February 4th of 2023. So she was aware that I was still going to go ahead and evict her because they weren't making any effort to clean that place up. And it has been 7 years. I put that in the letter too. It's the same bottom paragraph on the first page. Wait a minute, let's see. Yeah, this is only one page. The very last paragraph.
All right, as far as the
And if you
motion,
don't get it right away, I can
Ms.
just read the last
Patrick,
sentence.
Ms. Patrick, I think I'm okay. I did see the materials that you sent, and the
Okay.
court is aware of what your intentions were. I think that's why I kind of gave opinion.
Okay.
I don't think there's a misunderstanding between the parties about where they were headed. I
Right.
don't think the agency is under that false impression.
Mhm.
However, whether or not your actions by accepting the rent may have clouded that, that's really the question that counsel put before this court today.
Well, on that note, I apologize, Your
No,
Honor.
Ms. Patrick,
My first
Patrick,
instinct.
Ms. Patrick, please.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So I'm turning right, based on what I've seen and heard, and again, now, as far as the motion, Attorney Wright, I'm going to deny the motion for the reasons that I think have been put on the record. Again, I don't think Park Force's absolute bar that actually establishes that any acceptance of payment waives the notice of termination, the notice to terminate subsequent to the date specified on the notice.
In Your Honor, just so I'm clear, are you basing this just on the facts of the letter saying that she was not going to end the termination proceedings such that the relationship was clearly going to end?
No, it's a combination of factors. I think the testimony has come from both of them. Obviously, you're here for today, but they actually did speak at our prior hearing where some of these facts came out then. The combination of what I heard then as well as what I heard today, again, is what led me to the impression that this has never been about the misunderstanding that there was going to be a continuation of the landlord-tenant relationship. It was clearly fractured and both parties understood it was going to end. Again, I think it was the testimony of Ms. Riggs herself being a very honest and forthright person, and her consistency in paying that she did not want to stay someplace for free. She didn't believe in it. At least that's the impression that I got. Not that she thought it was going to continue, but while she was there,
Oh, I
her
did,
wording
Toby.
was, hey, I was here, I knew I had to pay. That with that in mind, again, I think that goes more toward her honesty than the thought of, I'm going to continue this relationship or whatever. Again, the primary lease, last lease, the court is aware of, that ended in 2009. So there's been a multiple tenancy at this point going on now for 14 years. And the parties clearly have a personal relationship where they know one another. This is
Yes.
not two people talking. This is two people who seem to know each other and seem to have, despite the differences here, a certain amount of respect for them. And I suspect that if there were some changes, it may have even continued. But given that there are certain circumstances that will not continue, I don't believe that the notice to terminate or the intention or that there was confusion about that, I think that has remained clear. That's been one of the reasons why the parties could not agree on time. For that reason, the court is going to deny your motion.
Deny.
And as far as the timing, let's see.
So Bootsy Collins gets her.
Yes, Yana.
Bootsy Collins wins. Denied. The hoarder wins. All right, you guys got to do me a huge favor. I had to go back and repost my latest DeSanto video, Netflix and Cell. I'm gonna play it for you guys. Can you, when the live is done, can you guys just go back, view it, just so it was in a nice role in the algorithm, just like all the other videos lately. And I had to pull it, so now everybody who watched it already isn't gonna hit the new one. So, because I had to do something with it, the music got all screwed up. I didn't want to get a strike, so I had to pull it. So if you can, if not, I don't care. But if you could, when we're done with the live, take you 2 seconds, just go on, view it, get it rolling, like it, get in the algo. But let's just play it because it's a great intro. I'm getting great comments about the new format for the videos. I kind of like it. It's not going anywhere. People seem to love it. So let's just play the beginning. Little public service announcement. Let's get it going.
Are you trying to get in touch with your family, but have a pesky restraining order? Well, why not try Netflix on your gaming device? In today's video, we are going to show you how to violate a temporary order by contacting your family via Netflix. With just a little know-how and plain old stupidity, you will be sharing the potty with Big Tony in no time. Let's find out how.
All right. And add to the bond violation that you had contact with the protected person.
So that's what happened. That's the old video. That's what happened. The music kept playing for some reason. I don't know why. I've been kind of flawless with it. So if you could go back and just view this again, I'd appreciate it so much. Guys, it's been great. Please just go hit the like button and view it just so I could get it rolling again. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donos. I appreciate everything. Never go to bed angry. Kiss your loved ones. Just remember, you have been served.